Hey everyone, it's Brooke. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do a video. This is the second video today. I'm bulk filming. I'm trying it out. I'm going to do some quick reviews of three things. Two books that have on my TBR. I did think about waiting until 5 like I did last time, but I'm reading too slow. So we're going to do it 2 at a time. One non-fantasy, one fantasy. I think that will work well. We'll see. But the first thing I want to show you is actually something I just got in the mail. It is a book. Well, it's a journal. And I really like it. And I was sort of worried that I was just spending money to spend money. But actually, I think it was worth it. And that is the new Book Riot Read Harder journal. A reading log. Track books, chart progress. This guy. So it's nice. It's not cheap. So price-wise, in the US it's $16.99, in Canada it's $21.99, and in the UK it's $14.99. But I think it gives you so much more than just like a blank journal gives you. And I've really enjoyed it so far. So this is a reading journal where you can just track in general the books you read. So like, this is my entry for the Poppy War, and this is the sections it has for you to fill in. Title, author, publisher, year published, genre, started, finished, review, this book in 3 words, a rating that's in like, it's in like US school grading system, like A, B, C, D, F. So yeah, fun. I actually really like that grading system. It requires me to think harder about what I'm going to give a book. And then there's like a full page for notes, quotes, and other things to remember. And then because Read Harder, or Book Riot does the Read Harder challenge, they also have a Read Harder challenge in the book. The 12, I think it's 12 challenges are listed in the front. Some of them are repeats from past challenges and some are brand new for this collection. So here's a little checklist, and they have separate entries or places inside the journal for you to fill out the challenges if you want to. And it's really well done. Like, they explain the challenge and they give a little quote with a little illustration. And then the next page they give you some suggestions. And then it's basically the same as like a normal book, except they also give you a third section about afterthoughts where they ask, how did this challenge influence your reading experience and what insights did you gain from this challenge? Which, I don't know, I really like it. Has like a bookmark inside, the little ribbon bookmark, and I think it's just really well put together, and I like it. I hope they continue to do it. So yeah, I thought I would show you guys that and tell you that it gets my full endorsements. So moving on to the actual books, I am going to talk to you first about Queens of Geek by Jen Wild. This is sort of one of those books in a genre that's becoming, or like a subgenre, I guess. It's becoming fairly popular, where it's like fandom culture, largely centered around fandom topics. I think various different like identity topics, and romance is generally involved. This is all of those things. This is about a group of 3 friends who go to basically the equivalent of San Diego Comic-Con. They're from Australia, and one of the girls is a YouTube star who has now like kind of become really famous for starring in this cult sci-fi movie, I think. And she had this major breakup with one of the stars in the movie. The other 2 friends are like secretly in love with each other, and so drama ensues. I have enjoyed a couple of these books and not enjoyed others. It's really sort of hit and miss how well like the fandom stuff and like the just everything, I guess, the character stuff is done. My favorite so far has been Eliza and Her Monsters. I just think it's just the true star of this sort of subgenre. This book did not work for me personally. I think it is very sort of lesson of the page focus. Like, it seems like every other page you're trying to learn the big lesson. So there's no subtlety. It's very sort of 101 on a lot of topics. So I think I'm just a little bit beyond this. I would recommend this to younger teenagers or older teenagers, younger adults who you think need some extra work or just aren't getting it, with topics that include, you know, race and sexuality and gender identity and these sorts of things. There's one of the characters in here is on the spectrum, so there's neurodiversity, there's social anxiety disorder, so these kinds of topics. I think the characters are endearing, and so if you have like a 13-year-old and you want to start having these conversations, well, you should have already been having these conversations, but you know, someone sort of preteenish who you think is ready and wants to tackle this and learn, and I think this would be great for them. I just think I need a little less in my face and a little more advanced discussion, but that's just me. And then finally, a book that I was gonna do like a whole review about, but I kept stumbling over my words and talking for like 40 minutes, so I'm not gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it here, and we're gonna try to get through it pretty quickly, kind of hit the high points. So The Poppy War is by Rebecca Kwong, and it's been all the rage. I'm sure you've heard of it. It is a military fantasy starring a young female protagonist in sort of a Chinese-inspired medievalish world, although it is really based on the Second Sino-Japanese War, you know, during like World War II, which is something that I have studied before. So nothing in this book, like the atrocities depicted, and there is one chapter that's just really particularly harrowing. So if you need, I would recommend, if you just don't know, to go to the author's website where she has a list of trigger warnings. There's a bunch of them. But basically this book follows a young girl who's 11 who escapes her adopted parents wanting to sell her into a marriage with some man who's 3 times her age. She studies real hard and gets into the most prestigious military academy in her country in order to escape that fate. And you follow her through the portion of the school that she's allowed to go through until war breaks out. This is a fantasy, so there are also fantasy elements that involve drug usage, so trigger warning for that. A lot of people have complained the pacing is really weird. There's 3 parts, and the 3 parts feel different. I didn't particularly have that problem. I thought this book read really fast for me. So, you know, just be on the lookout if you don't really like sort of pivots in a book where you might just be at a nice school setting and then pivot to war. If that's really shocking to you, and that pacing might throw you off a little bit, you know, it's there. But I think a lot of complaints have been about Rin as the main character. This book is it. And just her messiness. I think a lot of people have called it inconsistency. And I don't think Rin is inconsistently written. I just think she's messy. I think she was this really brave, headstrong girl who sort of saves herself out of this marriage. And so you sort of see her this one way as she enters this academy. And then she's thrown a million curveballs and she doesn't handle it well. And so you lose sort of that brave, bold courage that she was just sort of pummeling people with in the beginning. And she starts to go through a lot of uncertainty, ask a lot of questions, show real moments of cowardice. But she's never older than 14 or 15 in this book, and she's literally like facing a war, and she has a magical kind of power that her master, her like mentor, is telling her, hey, it's terrible, it's bad, you will destroy the world if you use this. And a commander she really admires who is like, please use this, weaponize this, save all your people. And she has all these push and pulls on her, the weight of like the literal world on her shoulders. And so I think her like regression and her stumbling and her being persuaded to different sides depending on who she's talking to makes so much sense. And I think it really pushes back at this sort of golden child, chosen one narrative, which is one of the reasons I always really liked Harry Potter, is because I think he pushes back at the chosen one narrative despite the fact that he is chosen. I think, you know, Harry and even Ren, they're like messy humans stuck inside this trope, and I really appreciated it, but your mileage may vary because a lot of people hate her. But yeah, I think my biggest critique from me personally of the Poppy War is that so many of these books will have a female protagonist and just like sort of be done with the ladies and just surround her with men. And I wish Ren had had like a female best friend or like a female mentor, but she didn't. And that was disappointing because there's just lots of men and boys. And I just sort of want more. I want more ladies in everything. Which is why I was really sad about not loving Red Sister as much, because there were so many ladies. Yeah, so just more ladies and a lot more messy chosen one narratives. Like, I'm here for those things. Okay, I think I'm good. Let me know if you have any feelings about these books in the comments, and I will talk to you guys next video. Bye.